do with defense and everything I do with the front headlock. And the reason I always use them both is because they go hand in hand. I do everything in a front headlock with my hips, believe it or not. It's not squeezing a guy. You know, your leg, this is where you get your power, is with your hips. The more you squeeze a guy in all positions, and from a front headlock to a leg attack, a ton on top, in collegiate or high school wrestling, you wear your arms out. You wear your arms out, sometimes you kind of, the match is kind of over. You guys, pretty much everybody has felt that. So, the biggest thing with the front headlock is the position. And a front headlock it's one of those moves that you have to get tons of reps in because it's a feel. You get a feel. I do it a little bit different than Sawyer does. Sawyer will do it different than me. But it's the basics. This is a very basic. And I'm probably going to bring us in 50 times until we all get this. If this is all we get accomplished this session, then I'm good with that. So position on a front headlock. Left arm, I'm a righty, so I'm going to show this righty. Left hand goes in the armpit. Literally in the armpit. If you can't see, get to where you can. Right hand at his chin. And I'm not squeezing his chin, I'm more pushing my thumb into his neck. What I'm trying to do is push his ear into his shoulder. What that allows me to do is get a good angle over this near arm. And one big thing I can't stand in a front headlock is wrestling it square. What I mean by that, if you're on both your knees with the front headlock, you have too many openings. I always want to face the direction I'm going to score. If I'm on both knees a lot of times, and even if you try, you have openings where this guy can duck both your elbows. By just turning your body a little bit, I turn my body, it pins my elbow to my ribs. My other one, it allows me to pull his armpit to me and pin my other elbow to my ribs. So my position is tight without really wasting any energy. I'm not squeezing, I'm not flexing, this is complete position. So again, guy shoots on you, you might catch him like this. I turn my body. And yes, I over-exaggerate, especially when I'm drilling in here. I over-exaggerate what I'm doing with my position. I'll even if I'm on my feet, we'll get into this in a little bit, even if I'm on even if I'm here, I turn my body. It looks like the guy can get my leg, but don't worry about that because you have your arm, your down block arm in there. So I have a brace in between me and him. So even if he gets a bite on my leg, I can push him back and get back to my front headlock. So that's why I cheat this position. So I turn, and you can see I completely open up my hips. I'm always going to score left. There's only one position and one thing this guy can do where I ever change my direction. I go left, and then I'm still going to go back. Or right, and then I'm still going to go back left to score. So I'm facing the direction I'm going to score. Everything's tight. I don't want to get too far ahead, but just thinking ahead. What I'm going to see a lot of guys, you're going to go down to the elbow. What happens if you go down to the elbow, and this is a matter of about 6 inches. I go to his elbow, I'm going to start pulling the guy's arm up. This is going to help this guy get to his feet. It's going to give him a better angle to defend me. So I really see this a lot with high school kids. You know, like the long, lanky guys and 106-pounders. I see a lot of that where you don't know what to do. Even if you have really long arms, keep your elbows pinned. It's all about this. I'm doing everything with my hips. I'm not doing it. I'm not muscling. I'm not trying to squeeze them. I'm not trying to choke them. You're trying to score points. So I'm doing this. I'm pushing his chin to his sternum using my hips. And then I move my feet and my knees when I go to score. But for now, just worry about position. Just have one guy get on hands and knees, chin, armpit, and then keep everything tight. If you want, you can start moving. You can push and pull and kind of wrestling here. But that's really as far as I ever get with the front headlock, as far as moving. And everything is then, actually I'll talk about that in a minute. Any questions with that? I know it seems simple, but this is a big time field position. Anybody? All right, let's try it on 3. 1, 2, 3. One thing. Never lock, never, ever, ever lock your hands in a front headlock. Ever. Even at the highest level in freestyle, and I was a front headlock guy, and I was going to pitch a guy through, I never locked my hands, even in freestyle. I would chase my points, and then I would go to a lock. But I always freed my hands. This is how you score. These things here are how you score. If you have your hands locked underneath the guy, you ain't scoring. It's actually impossible if you think about it. How am I scoring? I'm going to step behind the guy, keep your hands locked. You got to unlock them. This is how you lock stuff down. So hands stay unlocked. The other thing, and this is one of the biggest mistakes I always see, your eyes. And this is the same thing with defense. Your eyes cannot look at the mat. Same thing in a single leg or high crotch or whatever. Where your eyes go, your butt follows. My eyes look down, you're getting defended. Eyes look down and a front headlock or position goes bad. Eyes got to stay up. The higher your eyes are, and I mean high. Even when I go to score, my head stays high. I do everything with my arms and my lower body.
Coach, question, what happens if your head's low? What happens?
So, great question. So, as soon as you start looking at the mat, what I see in your guys' age level is this. And it's the smallest thing. Eyes go down, guys start going to their toes. And everything goes bad. Just by where your eyes are looking. So your butt comes up. And that's one main thing. By flexing my neck and my head, even if I focus on shrugging my shoulders and keeping my elbows tight, it forces my hips in. Just by doing this. If you start getting loosey-goosey, that's when it gets bad. You start pushing a guy up, this is bad. You start pushing, and this is why this is a field move. Because I am trying to push this guy's chin to his sternum. This is how I really start pushing and pulling on this guy. But it's kind of confusing because you think you got to push into the guy. Push into the guy and your eyes are down, you're going to be pushing this guy right into a leg attack. So that's why your hips have to stay low. I focus on pushing on this side, this part of his head, with my hips and his chin going to his sternum. Here, and I'm high. I'm pushing. I can feel my hip flexing here. All right, now I'm gonna move on a little bit further and go over some more positions.
Coach, is your right knee always to the mat?
My right knee is always to the mat. My right knee never comes off the mat. That's a good question. There's always one foot up, and I always say 1 foot down. But it's here. When I go to score, this knee still stays down. And it depends, even when I go to score and run around a guy, my right knee is on the mat, and then I go both knees on the mat. But the whole goal to scoring with the front headlock is collapsing this arm. You want to collapse this arm, even if it's for a second, and you can beat it with your hips, and then it goes straight, you have it beat, and you can score. So the easiest way to do this is pinch his head to his tricep, and I can do this without even using my right hand. So it's here. It's all you're trying to do. So this is what's another thing that's hard about a front headlock is that this position is just hard. This guy's not going to let you just run behind him. So I always explain it like this: it's a grind. You have to grind, and even when you wrestle those strong wrestles, I'm pinching and I'm pulling. I keep hold of his armpit until I collapse this near elbow down. As soon as it hits, as soon as his elbow hits, and I even scrunch my body all the way down here so I can squeeze him and pull his forehead to the mat. As soon as that happens, my hips cover his arm, my chest flies all the way to his low back. This is how high I get, because I want him carrying all my weight. Here, cover, and I'm pushing with my toes, my knees on the mat, I'm pushing into his shoulder. Elbow deep in his butt here. I like to catch an anchor, an ankle, shin, shoe. Some guys are good at the far ankle, but I like the near. I like lifting it up, I like breaking his knee off so he can't move anywhere. Right hand stays on his chin, and my elbows continue to come around all the way into my ride. Everything I do with my style of wrestling, I'm wearing on the guy's neck. So every chance I get to pull on his head, his neck, chin to his sternum, I do it. Even on top, on our feet, defense, front headlock, everywhere. So again, you can take a step outside, and I've seen a lot of guys coach it like this, where you bounce and bounce and bounce. I don't like doing that. I don't like teaching that way because there's too many bounces, there's too much bouncing, too much pressure being released. I push, and I just grind, straighten my arms, cover, chest goes high, head's high, that keeps your hips in, elbow deep, keep a hold of his neck, break that thing off. Keep a hold of his neck all the way into your ride. Okay? Shot, you're actually stopping it, down blocking, and then not live yet, but actually shooting. I mean, that's a better way to drill this position. Guy shooting, stopping, and then making sure your hands are and everything are right. Front headlock from your feet. Everything from a position standpoint stays exactly the same. So we're here, and you're going to be in this position a lot. Me personally, my style of wrestling, I was a grinder. So I put guys in the front headlock all the time. I forced them into this position. But especially at the middle school and high school level, you should be in this position. I see it all the time. Where guys are shooting wild shots, and they're coming to their feet. You always see guys here. But what you typically always see is you're just pushing the guy away. I just see this all the time, pushing the guy away and trying to get to a leg attack. I mean, the points are staring you in the face. So, from your feet, guy took a bad shot, and he ended up in this position. Positionally, everything stays the same. I even lift my foot off the mat, and this helps me become heavier and try to cheat my knee to the mat. But first and foremost, what I'm going to try to do is try to sag this guy down. And my train of thinking here, my train of thought is I'm wearing on his low back and I'm wearing on his neck. Those things go, then it's way easier to do. So wearing on his neck, wearing on his low back. So I catch him here, he comes to his feet. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to sag, even if the guy posts his hands, you keep sagging all the way through the position to collapse in his arm and you score. Pretty simple. I just want to talk. You can't let those points go. And especially in high school, longer, lankier wrestlers. I mean, I used to eat dudes alive when I was in high school with this. Guy stands up, as soon as he does, just pick them. Easiest points you can imagine at your guys' level, I'm telling you, because you're in this position a ton. It doesn't even have to be pretty. Just catch a guy and drop. You can catch a guy and drop him and come up for your leg attacks. But it's an easy way to get around a guy and get to his ankles, sit him on his butt, all that good stuff. Again, the next position, you're wrestling a stronger guy. This is the other one I want us to work. This is something I developed later in my career when I was training for the Olympics. I wrestled guys that were friggin' hard to score on. And I always got them here. A lot of times the ref stopped the match and I had to do something. I had to fix my footwork. So what I developed, but I kind of got better at it, was a way to get me to his legs and either finish a leg attack or break his neck off and throw him into the mat. That's kind of how I looked at it. So from here, position stays the same. I'm going to take the side step right, and I'm going to use my left hand and I'm going to push it, because the only time my elbow gets away from my body. I'm going to push him through the hole. So I go right, push, left, then I step left and go elbow deep to his hamstring. So I go right, left. Here, I stay down. I don't want to see guys reaching like I was talking about earlier. Not going to work against a good guy. You have to take your body to the leg. And the guy can do one of two things. His head can pop up when it does, or if it does, elbow in your hip, and then you fire across, finish on double. His head stays down. It stays down, you crash. And if you're a freestyle style